Hello everybody and welcome back to the Pokemon All-Star Competition. I am of course Cram, coach of the St. Louis Battlehawluchas, and this week we are playing Elfowls, who is the coach of the Newport Noctowls. On the screen of course you can see our matchup at hand. And going into this matchup, well, we're still winless, so I'm still looking for my first win. My opponent on the other hand is doing very well this season, and he's got a lot of super offensive threats. So I was building in mind with mostly the Urshifu and the Iron Moth in mind, as they are great pairings with one another. And then there's also the potential of Shell Smash Torterra sweeping me. He did elect to bring a Terra Steel Torterra. Something I had prepped for though was Terra Fire, just because that offensive combination would have been pretty destructive. But he actually has Terra Fire on the Iron Moth, so he does have another very high tier Terra Captain just like me. But yeah, just looking forward to the match. I think there's definitely an end goal of Terra Electric Arbol-liever just going in on his whole team if I can get rid of the Dragapult potentially, because I don't know what that is. It could possibly break through me if depending on what type of set it is. But here I do decide to lead Magmortar. This is my dedicated lead, and he actually leads the Urshifu. Now, I actually EV to live exactly one hit of the Surging Strike, so he has to go for 2 chances to get burned by my Flame Body. So I actually stay in and go for the Lava Plume. He actually goes for sub, expecting me to switch. I am modest, so this actually does break the substitute. And now that he sees what my end goal is here with staying in, and as I can tell, he is not a booster item. He is actually leftovers. So he doesn't want to get burned, so he is going to switch out. So this gives me a free opportunity to Lava Plume another switch in and try to get a burn and cut down on leftovers recovery or just weaken physical attackers. He does go into the Lantern, which is leftovers, does not get burned, and is pretty Sventhoon, I would say. Now I do have Power Up Solo Beam for this, but I don't want to go for it yet because he could hard swap out to scout for it. So I'm going to make the fairly obvious play and go into Arbol-liever, which does unfortunately allow him to get free momentum with a flip turn. And then we are Seed Sower, so we are going to get grassy terrain, which is really nice for keeping my team alive here. And then in response, he's going to go into the Iron Moth. Now I could Terra into Electric to survive his hit, but I don't actually know what type of Iron Moth this is, as he doesn't reveal booster energy. I'm going to go into my Annihilate instead, which is my dedicated check to this thing. I also have Terra Water in case he's leans more into the fire power of this Mon, which he does decide to do. He's going to Terrasilize into the fire type. Now I'm built for booster energy variants, specifically booster speed, so I shouldn't be too KO'd by much, because I'm very Sphealers with AV. But as you're going to see, he's going to go for Overheat with Terra Fire, and you're going to see it's going to do a lot of damage to me, which tells me 100% that he is Choice Specs. And his Sphealers is going to drop. After this terrain recovery, I could Terrasilize into water, but I don't want to burn my Terra yet because I want to use it for Arbol-liever, because otherwise I can't beat Corviknight with Arbol-liever. So I'm actually going to make the safer play and go into Magmortar here, because Magmortar's health isn't too important. Once it gets off good attacks on Corviknight and maybe a Power Herb Solo Beam on the Lantern, then it's pretty much done its job. Now here I do expect him to switch because he is -4. So now I'm going to try to trap in this Lantern. I'm going to go for the Fire Spin. Now he does have Flip Turn, but I am faster and he can't hard swap out the Scout for my Solar Beam. As you can see, we still have grassy terrain up, so even if he's absolutely Sphealers, he cannot take the Solar Beam. And we know that he's leftovers, which means he's not Rindoberry. And after Fire Spin damage, he's perfectly in range of a regular Solar Beam, but because I have terrain up, it's going to do well over 100% damage. So even if there was any rolls, it wouldn't have mattered. So we're going to pop that Power Herb Solar Beam, and now the Lantern is gone. So Magmortar's pretty much done his job for this match. And as you can see, the grassy terrain actually goes away on this turn. So that was a very perfectly timed Solar Beam on my part. Now he's going to go into the Dragapult. Now I'm not in range of a Draco unless he's Choice Spec, so I'm going to stay in because Magmortar has done his job. And I can see from that damage that he is not Choice Specs. So I'm going to go for Lava Plume. Unfortunately, no burn. I am like, what, 0 for 2 free on burns this matchup, but that's alright. Here we're going to go to Arbol-liever because I'm pretty def naturally, so I should be able to take this Draco just fine. And now that I know he's not specs, it isn't really that concerning to me. And I can also get the grassy terrain up, which is really beneficial for my team. Now the only way I have to hit this thing, because I don't have fairy coverage this week, the only way I can hit this thing is to go for earth power, so I'm going to go for that, just to chip it down. And they're actually going to go into Torterra here. So that's good for on his part for scouting for the earth power. And then we're both going to get some recovery. He has a pretty fast Torterra, of course. And he's actually going to go for a Stealth Rock. So I could have gone Magmortar on this turn, but I didn't want to hard switch in Magmortar in case it is Shell Smash. So I just went for the middle ground play Giga Draining because I have the terrain up and I do a lot of damage. It's a neutral hit as well. But since he did go for Stealth Rocks, that means that Magmortar is effectively useless because I have no removal and I'm in range of Stealth Rock. So he is going to swap out the Torterra as he's in range of another Giga Drain. He's going to go straight to Corviknight. Now, I am Terra Electric for this thing, but he's actually going to force me out before I get an opportunity. So he's going to force me out the red card. This is probably his Annihilate check if I had to guess. And the red card froze me right into Magmortar, which is highly unfortunate because now I don't have the sack for later. So Magmortar's going to go down. And with Magmortar gone, I have to either commit my Terastallization or hope for some fortune here. I don't want to commit my Terra just yet. So I'm going to go into Mamoswine instead, and I expect them to probably U-turn out. So I'm just going to get up my Stealth Rocks here. Stealth Rocks will help chip down his team a little bit more and make sure that I get some favorable exchanges with switches and grassy terrain recovery and things like that. And then in response, he's going to U-turn into Urshifu. Now, I know he's going for sub, but I really cannot risk losing Mammo here because I need the Ice Shard priority for Dragapult. And I can't go Arbol-liever because he could have close combat, which does one-shot me. So now that the terrain is gone, I know he's going to sub. I make a risky play. I'm going to go into Monkey Dory instead. Because what Monkey Dory allows me to do is I am Choice Scarf. So if he doesn't commit the sub, I will outspeed and threaten him out the next turn. And if he goes for sub, I can at least break it. And I do get Frisk, and I get the most useless information ever. And he does go for sub. So I do at least get out of this exchange unscathed outside of Rock's chip. So he's going to get a little bit of recovery back. And now I could be Psychic Noise, but unfortunately he does call my bluff, and I do just have Psychic, so I have to break the sub. If I had been a Psychic Noise like I was the previous week, he would have just dropped, but that's alright. Here he's going to go for Surge Extraction. You see, he actually does quite a bit of damage with this, unsurprisingly, but because we were pretty well invested for this scenario, I did survive on only 5 HP. So now I'm in range of rocks, but here we get to see if he has Aqua Jet as a priority option, because if he doesn't, he is going to be forced out here, which he does decide to switch. And then he goes into the Corviknight to take the Psychic. And at the Rock Chip, it does an okay amount, but it's a Corviknight, so we're not going to make any major progress. I am in range of rocks, so I do decide to just Psychic and hope that he knocks me out with a U-turn, but he decides to Roost instead, so this exchange does not go in my favor at all because Psychic does not 2 KO, and he's Mirror Herb, so if I get a Spadef drop, I have to take that Spadef drop, so it doesn't work out in my favor. I do expect another Roost, so I am going to go into Arbol-liever here. So I can pressure him and force a U-turn of some sort, because he does have to scout for the Terra Electric, or he's just going to lose his Corviknight. And then here is like, just in case he does have the flying coverage, because I don't know all 4 of his moves yet, I do decide to go for the Sap Sipper. And in response, he does decide to pivot into the Torterra. So, Sap Sipper, or not Sap Sipper, I'm sorry, the Strength Sap is going to bring me up to full. And then he's going to actually pop an item. So he's actually revealed to be the White Herb. So he was actually a Shell Smash variant, but he decided to forego coverage in favor of Stealth Rock. He's going to go for Heavy Slam, which doesn't do much to me. And then I'm going to respond with a Giga Drain and take him out. That's great, so that Fredit Torterra is neutralized. So Arbol-liever here is putting in a lot of work, even without Terastallization. But we still have it on hand for when we do need it. And now here he's going to go into Iron Moth, who gets a free switch. He is going to take Stealth Rocks because he has choice specs. And I do not want to Terastallize in front of this thing because I will definitely still die. So this is our opportunity to stack the Monkey Dory to Stealth Rocks so that we can scout out what he decides to lock into with his choice specs. And he decides to go for the safe Flamethrower. Which is good because at this point everything is weakened enough for Terra Fire, choice specs, Flamethrower. Here in response, I'm going to go into my Persian. Now that Torterra's gone, I don't need this thing anymore, but I do make a mistake, and that he's actually faster than me. I was going to go for knockoff to knock off the choice specs, because I don't have a lot of options to take choice specs, Flamethrower in the back, but unfortunately he is faster than me, so I lose my Persian for absolutely nothing, and he'd give him a free turn of recovery. So I only have one more option to live this hit from Iron Moth. I have to go to my Annihilate, and I do have to commit my Terra. With Terra Water, there is a very small chance for him to KO me. Maybe slightly larger if he is modest, but I don't think it's ever in his favor. So I'm going to commit my Terra Water here, and he does decide to just Flamethrower. And you see, I actually live on 5, so it was very well timed, and I'm going to go in response with a Rage Fist, which is now 150 power, and it takes out the Iron Moth. It's a little unfortunate I did have to commit my Terastallization because now I have nothing left for Tornite. And in response, he can go into whatever he wants here to revenge me. Annihilate's done his, at this point, done his job, right? It neutralized the Iron Moth. And he actually reveals that he has Drain Punch, which is very good information for me because now I know that he actually cannot knock out my Arbol-liever in one hit. So the silver lining to me burning my Terra is that I can live a hit from Urshifu. So I can potentially 1v1, or I guess 1v3, 1v4 his whole team with Arbol-liever in the right circumstances. But because I can't touch the Corviknight, it's going to take me considerably long to do that. Now here, Corviknight is obvious because my Terastallization is committed. So he's going to go into Corviknight as I suspected. So I'm actually going to pull a double. I'm going to go directly into my Mamoswine. Now the only way I can quickly get through this Corviknight is to Iron Flinch him to death. And I'm expecting a free KO here, so I do need at least 2 flinches to make this go. I'm going to go for the Icicle Crash. We do good damage, definitely not in range. But unfortunately, I don't get any crits here, and I am going to drop to an Iron Head after Life Orb Chip, which is unfortunate. So now we're down to Arbol-liever versus the remaining 2, I believe, or 3 Mons left. So here he's going to reveal Iron Head, which we already knew, but this shows me that he doesn't have a flying coverage move, so I can, in theory, stall him out. I was expecting a Roost here, so I want to punish that with Arc Power, because if he ever Roosts on me, I can punish him with good damage. And I'm not really worried about taking too much damage from Iron Head, because I have Strength Sap. And because he's Mirror Armor and not Pressure, what I can do here is just alternate Strength Sap every turn and get recovery out of it. And since he's not lowering his attack, that I will always get the full amount of recovery from the Corviknight. So I'm just going to go in here and fish for Roost. As he's going to continue to try Iron Head flinch me down. I'm going to go for Giga Drain here. I just want to get a little bit of recovery, because if he's never going to Roost, then I at least make some progress here. But the train is doing me very well here. He is going to go for the U-turn. So I am considerably low, and I do need to Strength Sap. But here he's going to go into the Noodle, which I believe is the Dragapult. Yes. So he's going to take Rocks. And then he's going to take an Earth Power, because I was trying to catch the Roost, but he does not go for that. Unfortunately, I'm a little vulnerable here because I'm at roughly half HP. My Grassy Terrain is gone, so I can reproc it at least. But here he's going to go for the Draco, and I actually live it with a little bit. But what I should have done here was go for the Strength Sap and get all the way back up to full. But I was a little concerned it wouldn't work with Clear Body. So I had ended up going for Giga Drain, which is my downfall, because we're not going to get enough recovery to survive anything in the back. So I am fortunately going to get rid of Dragapult and bring this down to... bring him down to 2 Mons left. But he can go into anything he wants here, and he should be able to knock me out. He is going to go Urshifu. I am now in range of Drain Punch, so he's going to go exactly for that, and he's going to take the 2-0 win. So unfortunately, we still don't have a win under our belt, but at least this match was way closer than our other 2 matches this season, and I think with just a little more well-played choices on my part with Arbol-liever, I think I potentially could have soloed the rest of the Mons even without terrestrialization, but that's alright.